Hi everybody, I'm April Diamond. It's Live with April Diamond here on Hey Vegas TV during 30 Days of April. So today I have an awesome guest from Brazil, but she's now a native, I guess you can call you a native now of Las Vegas.
My passport says I was born here, so.
Oh, well there you go. Meet Camilla Dorand. Yay!
Thank you, April.
So good to have you. She is an amazing woman. She's written a book. She got her PhD. She has a magazine called City Life Magazine here in Las Vegas. You do a lot of things.
I do. I've always done a lot of things.
Yeah. It makes life more interesting, right?
It does. I've always been, I think, a little restless, really trying to find what ignites my fire and what makes me happy. And because when we're happy, we make others happy, or it's easier for them to be inspired by our happiness and then go after their own happiness, and it just creates that beautiful effect.
So I agree with you. And is that what your book is about?
Well, so my book, I self-published it in 2015.
Okay.
It's a project that I've had since 2008.
And what's it called?
It's called Back to Me, Changing How I Feel About My Mother, My Body, and Men. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to have some spicy conversations here.
Yeah. If you want to, and if it's, I don't know if this is X-rated or whatever. Just kidding.
We'll try to keep it rated for all audiences, but getting into it, right?
Yeah.
So you came from, but you're Brazilian.
I am.
So now you're in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And so what is culture like? Is it different in Brazil than here? I mean, obviously there's some differences. Are there some similarities?
So there are many similarities, but it's so different. Like, we are very Western, like, America.
Sure.
Brazilians love Americans. We worship the American people and the American culture, just because America and Americans are the, biggest country in the world in terms of influence.
Sure.
And we just love Americans. And it's funny that I grew up, or as I got older, I said I will never marry an American.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I married an American, and that is why.
Never.
That is
why
I ended up here.
So you said, okay, we can talk about how you met your husband. So since you did what you said you weren't going to do, tell us about how you met your husband.
So I was an exchange student in Alabama in 1991.
Alabama?
Montgomery, Alabama.
From Brazil?
São Paulo, Brazil. Like, the city has 22 million people.
Yeah.
To Montgomery, Alabama, with 150,000 people.
That's like shock, right?
Yeah, it was a shock. Yeah, I was shocked. For the first 3 months of my experience, I was just locked up in my room, kind of feeling depressed, isolated, But then I got over it, and I just, got integrated into the American life.
Sure.
So with Rotary, you're supposed to change homes when you're an exchange student every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
But I happened to have lived with the same family for an entire year in 1991. And my host father, his name is Rodney. He was married to Barbara, his second wife, and there are 3 kids younger than me. Okay. Rodney had been married to Linda, whom they had 3 kids together, and Linda and the 3 kids lived in California, in Orange County. And they were more of my age, right? And so in 1991, I met all of the family. I met the 5 kids, the 5 out of 6, because the 2 from the first marriage went to Alabama to spend the holidays. Throughout the year, I met all the cousins, the uncles, the aunts, the
nest. In there you met your husband?
No. See,
okay.
You're jumping.
Okay.
You're jumping to conclusions.
We're not there yet
because this is a very cool story.
Okay, it's a cool story.
Yeah. So what happened was I was part of the family in 91. So I went back to Brazil. I finished high school. I saved up some money. And then in 93, I came back to the States to spend the holidays with them. The 2 kids from California flew back to Montgomery. So I'm like, oh, great. This is my American family. And so I went back to Brazil in 93. I had started law school. And I'm like, okay. And then I never saw the family again, right?
Okay.
Because my host father, he just did something that was uncalled for, and I was very hurt. And he changed my plane ticket without consulting me, just so I could go to Brazil earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, and
that's not nice.
No, that was not nice at all. No. So I was really hurt, felt betrayed, and all that. And I said, I'm never talking to them again. Fast forward to 2009, right? I'm at the beach in Brazil with my boyfriend at the time. He breaks up with me.
And you're like, I'm never going
December,
to America.
December 31st. So I'm like
wow.
super pissed. I go to the hotel, to the ground floor where the computers, and I get on Facebook and I start venting. And then all of a sudden I'm like, my American family. Oh my God, I haven't talked to them in forever. It had been like almost 20 years.
Wow.
So I go online and I start friending everybody. I'm like, hey, this is Camilla, the Brazilian exchange student. And I was, at the time, using a different name because I was doing TV, so I was a media personality. So my name was Mila Matias. It was not Camila Teixeira de Freitas, which is my last name in Brazil. And I'm like, oh, this is Camilla.
Okay, so wait, I got to interrupt the story. You were a personality in Brazil. You were on there having your own show or working as a journalist. What were you doing in Brazil?
So I...
that I want to know about.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the other you don't? No, just kidding. No, so I did start...
We'll go back to that.
Yeah, because... So I started my life... So this is part of why I wanted to write the book.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So I finished law school. I got my own practice. I did my master's. And I lost like 90 pounds.
Wow.
So after I got married to my first husband... I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of my parents' house, because that's the Brazilian culture. You're asking about culture. So I'm answering all questions in one.
Thank you.
So I left my parents' home when I was 32.
Okay.
Because that's when I got married for the first time. And
he didn't make it.
No, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. I was too much of a free spirit for him. And it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right? And so I, after I left my parents' house and I decided that I was going to quit law. No, I didn't. Okay. So I got married. I went to have my astrological chart read with his aunt, my first husband's aunt.
Okay.
And she was reading my astrological chart and she said, Camilla, I see here in your career, the house of your career, that law is saturated. I'm like, no kidding. Like I didn't want to do law, right? I didn't want to do law. I just did it because my dad said to me when I was 18, Camilla, you can do anything that you want as long as you're either a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer.
That's what anything you want means, only 3 things?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, no doctor, no engineer, I'm going to do law. So I did law, but I was never really into it.
So you got your law degree?
I got my law degree and a master's in legal studies.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a lawyer here.
Yes,
Hello?
a Brazilian lawyer.
Wow.
Yes.
The fancy kind with good food.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And so after she said that the law was saturated in my house of career, I'm like, all right, great. She's like, well, you got to work with image. I'm like, image? What do you mean image? Is it like TV? Is it like marketing? Is it like photography? She's like, I don't know. You go figure it out. But it says here it's image. I'm like, so I go home and I tell Leonardo, hey, your aunt said that I should work with image. Like, oh yeah, whatever. He like ignored me. And I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to do me. So for 30 days, I soul searched. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to create a new profession.
Okay, no more lawyer. What's next?
I'm going to like help people dress.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Image consultant?
Yes. So because I had lost 90 pounds, I was fat, like super heavy for 10 years of my life, from 14 to 24. Right. And in Brazil at that time, nobody was as large as I was, or at least within my circle. I had no place to buy like great clothes.
So you have to like completely change everything.
Yeah. So I would only wear like sweats and t-shirts or leggings. That's all I wore. Nothing would fit me, and my mom had to have like the clothes made for me sewn, from a seamstress. So when I lost all that weight, I started buying all these clothes, and I fell in love with image and, fashion.
Aww. Well, congratulations on that.
Well,
That's
thank you.
Easy.
No, it's not. It took me 3.5 years, so it was very natural. I didn't take any drugs, any pills. I didn't do surgery. It was really because I found that self-love that was missing.
Nice.
So I was really addicted to food. And
I love food.
yeah, I love food too, but too much of anything is not good for you.
Of course, yeah.
And I was an emotional eater, and I was trying to fill a void of that self-love. So at 24, I had like this wonderful experience that then helped me shift my perspective, challenge the belief that I had that was not allowing me to love myself. And so then I lost all the weight naturally because I didn't need to eat anymore.
Nice.
Right?
Good for you.
Thank you. Going back to my career, I'm like, I'm going to be an image consultant.
Okay.
So I'm Googling image consultant, new career, and I'm like, oh, people are already doing this. Personal styling,
You're
right?
like, bummer. I thought I was the only one.
I thought I was going to be the first one, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, it has. So I'm like, whatever. So what I did was I enrolled in courses.
Okay.
And I was like, quit law. I declared that I was quitting law to my dad. He was very disappointed. To my husband, that was the beginning of the end of our marriage.
Oh.
Which is fine. Everything that happens for a reason, right?
Sure.
And so after a few months of being enrolled in courses, I get this gig I decided to change my name. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to call myself now Mila Matias.
Ooh. It sounds like a star name.
Doesn't it? It's catchy.
I like
it's
it.
easy. Because I said, I'm going to be on TV.
And you were.
But I decided.
Yes.
I decided that I was going to be on TV, so I changed my name. And so a few months after that, I get a gig on a radio show, national radio show.
Awesome.
To give tips on how to dress for certain occasions and for body types and all that, like an image consultant.
So you still got that outlet to be able to
I got that outlet.
help people
and
dress.
I started writing columns for newspapers, like the local newspaper in the neighborhoods,
Awesome.
then a bigger newspaper. Like, I've always been a go-getter, and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to be on TV. That was my goal. And going this, and then throughout this process of, starting in the media, I met my press agent or my PR. And she looked at me and she's like, you got to be on TV. I'm like, I know. I know. So
you willed it, you made it happen,
Yeah.
you brought it to fruition.
And so a few months later, she gets me a gig on a makeover show for women. So to like, what's your real age? In Brazil, it said, qual a verdadeira idade? Like, what's your real age? So they would pick, a woman that looked really older than her age, and then I would do her transformation part of the clothing aspect.
Cool.
Then she would have a dentist, a dermatologist, and a hairdresser.
So it's like a makeover.
Yeah, makeover. So I was on national TV.
Wow.
Every other Sunday on this this program or this segment of
what was your segment called?
Qual é a verdadeira idade? What's your real age?
Okay. Oh, it was called that. Okay.
Yeah, it was called that. In Brazil, it sounds better than in English.
Yeah, I think so.
In Portuguese, yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was 2 years in the same channel. Then I transferred. I went to a higher ranked channel on another program. But I made my name as Mila Matias. I was the national reference in Brazil for image and lifestyle, and I have 2 books published over there under Mila Matias. And so my career in image, came to life, right?
Right.
And so in 2012, I found out that I had cancer,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Thyroid cancer.
Oh.
So, and that was beautiful. It was like a gift. It was really a gift. And all of that is part of how I met my husband, which was the initial story. So I'm keeping track.
Okay.
I'm keeping track.
I feel like I'm reading a book, but talking to you.
I'm keeping track. You're so cute. So I found out that I had cancer, and I made a deal with God. I said, hey, if I'm to survive this, I want to be an instrument of your will, and I want you to put me in front of people that I can help transform and help them reach their highest potential and be happy.
That's amazing.
Because that's what I was doing through my work as an image consultant. Because when you love yourself, when you love how you look, you feel that you can do anything.
I agree.
So my clients, they transformed their lives after they fell in love with themselves because I helped them look good, and they saw something good in the mirror every single day. which just transferred to their interior, and then they felt like they could do anything. So all of them really transformed their lives, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, God, I want to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. So I survived the operation, the surgery. I, took my meds, blah, blah, blah. And then my youngest American sibling was going to his wedding was in December of 2012, like 6 months after my cancer experience. And for 3 months I didn't work. I had no money. All the savings that I had went to pay for my bills because it was only my dog and I. And I said, Dad, I don't think I'm going to go to this wedding in Alabama. He's like, Camilla, but they are your family. They are part of your history. You have to go. Do you need money? I'll lend you money. I'm like, no, I'll figure it out. You're right. I'm going to go. So I bought my ticket. I paid it in like 12 installments. Right? But then it's funny.
Do what you got to do.
But right after that, like, God sent me 3 big clients.
Nice.
Right? And I was back on the media, with appearances and going to parties, events, and interviews. Like, I was back. So I came to the wedding in December. Mm-hmm. And I was at the hotel where the reception was going to take place and where the wedding party was staying. And at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, my host mom, Barbara, she said, let's go greet the kids from California. They're here. And this was on a Thursday, December 13. And we go to the 7th floor landing, and we see all these people coming out of the elevators, like so many kids. And I recognize Meredith. Mm-hmm. I think this is Kyle's wife. And then I see this man getting out of the elevator.
The man, the one.
I'm like, who's this guy? He's so handsome. Like, nice. It's not Kyle. Kyle's shorter. Oh, that's Lee, the son I never met. Oh. And I said, I want him. And
we know that when you put it out there, you get it.
I did, and we've been together since that day. And
wow.
He's my husband now. We've been together for 11 years. Yesterday was our official wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, because we decided to get married like literally 3 days after we met.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 days after you
3
met?
3 days, yeah. Yeah.
This is a movie. 3 days.
Yeah, and then a month later he was in Brazil.
Wow.
He met my dad. He brought my dog and some of my stuff.
And he took your dog too?
Yeah,
Aww.
he did. He's a
when
great
they accept
guy.
your animals.
I know. He's a great guy.
People that love animals, I'm like, okay, you're good.
Yeah, so in 2 months I quit my career in Brazil.
Wow.
I sold my car. I gave away my stuff. I put my condo up for lease, and I moved. I was like, boom, boom, boom.
You came to Las Vegas.
No, we went to Orange County, so he was living in Newport Beach.
Oh, okay, Newport Beach, Orange County. Very nice. I mean, you
very
could stay
nice.
There.
Very
Beautiful
nice.
Ocean.
Hello. Yeah, but I didn't really like the California lifestyle. So we ended up moving to Scottsdale.
Uh-huh.
Too hot. Moved to Chicago. Loved Chicago.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. That city is the bomb. Mm-hmm. It has museums, jazz bars, restaurants, like entertainment. It's beautiful. We lived downtown, didn't have a car. Everything was like, nice. Subway and buses. But it was so cold.
Yeah. Like Michigan.
We lived right next to the lake, right?
Wow.
So for 9 months of the year, we would have to wear a coat.
Yeah.
And for a Brazilian, no, that's not going to work. So one day we were watching Flip or Flop Vegas.
Oh, this is really? That's how you found Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said, baby, let's move to Vegas. He's like, my mom lives there. I'm like, oh, yeah.
My mother-in-law, she's going to be telling me how to cook. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't care. Let's make a list of pros and cons. And there was really no cons. And there were so many pros.
Nice.
So we're like, okay, let's do it. That weekend, we're like, let's do it.
Wow.
And then on Monday, I got on the phone. I was finishing my master's degree in mental health here. And I was already going to start field work. So I needed to find a placement in Vegas. So on Monday, after the Saturday that we decided, I got on the phone and online, and I was looking for agencies, and I finally found an agency. I got 2 interviews, did the interview. I landed my first internship here We rented a Penske truck, put all of our apartment and stuff in the Penske truck, and 10 weeks later we were driving cross country, our 2 dogs and the 2 of us.
Wow.
And we rented an apartment on Desert Inn and Town Center, sight unseen. And then we got here on a Wednesday. On Friday we bought our car. On Sunday we found a land, a new construction. We put our deposit in, and
awesome.
Yeah, and 6 months after that, we moved into our first house.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so you built your roots here for a few years.
Yeah.
And then I know that you recently, and that's an awesome story. Like, it's like a movie, kind of.
Isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. That's amazing.
And there are many, many more details.
I'm sure.
But I don't want to reveal them because then nobody's going to buy my book.
Yeah, you got to buy the book. So tell us, so you wrote your book. You self-published it, and then you said you have either it was self-published back in
2015, and then
and now.
So when I came to the States, I had just had cancer. I was still getting adjusted to having to take a medication, hormones and antidepressants and so on and so forth. So 2 years after I came here, that's when I decided that I was ready to go back to work. But I didn't know anybody.
Oh.
I didn't know anybody. What am I going to do?
Sure.
Because in Brazil I had all these people around me supporting me, and I knew everybody. And Lee said, just go back to school.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go get my second master's. So I did. I went back to school. I got my master's in mental health counseling,
Okay.
which I finished in 2018. Wow. Then I did 2 years of internship, and then I passed the board, and then I became licensed, and then I started my PhD. I became a hypnotherapist.
Wow. And you just finished your PhD.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I did. And I burned out in 21. So in September of 21, I burned out.
That's a lot. That's
right?
A lot.
It's a lot. And I felt super depressed. And then I had the opportunity to buy a magazine.
Oh, so that's where City Life magazine
That's
comes in.
what, So I bought Red Rock City Lifestyle magazine, which is a boutique magazine. It's a very luxury product, and it's a lifestyle magazine that comes out every month.
Okay.
And it's delivered to the most affluent residents up in Summerlin. That's why it's called Red Rock City Lifestyle magazine. And a few months after I bought the magazine, I won an award.
Wow, congratulations.
For the magazine, because I doubled the size of the magazine in like 9 months, right? So
wow.
Yeah.
What's the circulation on it?
So it's a little under 20,000 copies to that upper scale residence. And when I walked on the stage to receive my award, I froze. And I'm like, I don't deserve this. Why am I getting this, right? So I got off the stage, and it was just a year of spiraling down. A lot of uncovered trauma, uncovered beliefs, uncovered core filters just kept coming up, and I just disconnected from myself. I stopped feeling things.
Right. Do you think that's because when you're busy and you keep going to school and you keep doing things and stay busy, do you think it disconnects you from your emotions sometimes, so you don't have to feel things because you're so busy? Or
I don't.
Maybe you push some things down.
No,
and they
I clearly pushed some things down, like a lot of things, right? And so last year in September, I went to the same conference. Obviously, I didn't win an award because I had gone through this like downward spiral. And I ran into this lady, and she said, "Oh my God, I met this amazing mindset coach." I'm like, I want her number.
Nice.
So she gave me her number. I called her right after I got back from the conference, and I said, we talked. I said, I want to start coaching with you.
Nice.
And she's like, okay. So I went to Houston. That's where she is based. I had like my first retreat. I came back. We were having sessions one-on-one every week, blah, blah. But I started to uncover, April, so much junk. And releasing. And these were things that were keeping me back, like anchored.
Sure. I think we all go through that.
Oh, everybody has them. Everybody has them.
Not everybody gets... I think we run up against things in life, and sometimes sometimes I feel like people sit there. And
they
stare at that. But the thing that I get from your story and from coming from Brazil, coming here, meeting your husband, getting your degrees, buying a magazine, like for you push through the ceiling because you want to see how far you can go, and you just keep going. But there is like that pullback when you start feeling
that you don't deserve it.
You keep pushing. Yeah. Sometimes that, and then also just you don't feel the hits, the emotional hits that you've had for so long, and then you kind of like feel it all at one time. It hits you. I've had those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been working with her, and working with her has allowed me to tap back into myself.
That's great.
To really reestablish that confidence, to reinstate my dream. So my dream is to, and it's still with the pact with God that I had made back in 2012, of really being in front of people to help them
That's great.
reach their highest potential and be happy. And I have a message. I have several messages because of all the stories that I've lived.
Sure.
So after, reinstating my confidence and finding my voice again, I'm like, I'm going to relaunch this book.
That's great.
I'm going to relaunch this book.
So did you add more chapters to it, or did you redo it, or
No.
you just relaunched it and got a publisher?
I got it published again, self-publishing again, because I'm like, if you're not going to do it for me, don't worry, I'll do it myself. But
we got that. We got that.
But I hired this guy from LA. His name is Charles Clemens. He's a producer. He's been involved in like huge productions back in Hollywood. So he drove out here with his wife and his crew, and it was like, I think, the last Sunday in March, and we filmed my bio series.
Nice.
So it's like my testimonials about the book and talking about my experiences.
Yeah.
So
I think I walked in on that for
you did.
a few minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think we're busy here. I'll check with you later.
Yeah.
But
so
that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's going to be launched now towards the end of April. And
awesome.
I'm thrilled. So I also have a new project I'm building in my website. I have a project called RED, Rise, Empower, Dream. That's what RED stands for. And I want to really be able to uplift, inspire, and empower other women.
That's wonderful.
Through my stories, to step out of fear and comfort and step into their power and really touch, that fire that everybody has within. And a lot of the times we just mute, we just dim our lights because we're afraid or we have unresolved stuff. So
I think everyone's got some of that. But it's very inspirational, and I think the world needs more stories like that. That real stories of people accomplishing those things. Coming from another country, coming here, establishing yourself in Las Vegas. Now you have this magazine, and then you republished your book. So what's next for you, and then what's next for the magazine? And then also, the other thing I want to talk about is some of the events in Las Vegas, because you are doing a lot of things for nonprofits and raising money, but you also just events and connecting people here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so what's next for me, for Camilla? So I really want to start this platform for women with RED.
Nice.
So having my own podcast and just... being an inspiration to other women. So, public speaking. Oh, thank you. So just speaking in schools, in corporations, at events, that's my vision. Parallel to that with the magazine. So the magazine, my vision for the magazine is that I wanted to bring the community together.
Right.
So through the magazine, I help local businesses get their time in the sun, if you may, or be highlighted, tell their stories. The owners have the opportunity to tell the community their whys, what do they do, who they support. Through the magazine, I also connect to nonprofits so they can tell their stories.
That's great.
So, people can start to gain awareness of the important causes that we have in our communities.
So you do some features in your magazine for nonprofit causes and, to try to bring light to that.
Yes.
So everything that you do in the magazine and in your book is to tell your story and show people how you've conquered things and to inspire people to, find their meaning and their passion and to
well,
yourself, a lot of things.
Yeah, but the magazine is not about me. The book is about me, but the magazine is about the community. It's for the community, for the people. And I go to these events. I do interviews at events. I really want to bring light to business owners, to the cause, to the charity, to the event itself. So I do interviews at these events that I go. Like tonight I have a huge fundraiser for Miracle Flights, who's a huge partner of the magazine. It's going to be at a hangar. They sold out. That's why I couldn't get you a ticket, by the way. Yeah, they sold out in the beginning of the week.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And tomorrow at lunchtime, I have another fundraiser at Red Rock Casino for United Way, right? So, like, my life, and I love it. My life is a constant, like, events, connecting, building, together. So that's what I want to continue to do with the magazine, is to keep building the community, keep strengthening people and businesses and nonprofits through the stories that we tell.
That's great. Well, that's wonderful, and I'm really glad you got to tell your story. And we should definitely talk a little bit more about that in the future, and talk about your magazine and talk about the events that are coming up in Las Vegas too at some point. But where can everyone find you?
Here in Las Vegas.
Here in Las Vegas. And I believe it's Red Rock City Life Magazine on Instagram. You can follow Camilla there.
Yeah. So my website, CamillaDorand.com, is still under construction. It should be ready by the end of next week.
Great.
So I think beginning of May, it's going to be live. I'm going to have my first few podcasts recorded in the last week of April. That's when I'm going to start. And my book can be found on Amazon.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I have paperback, hardcover, and Audible.
And tell us again what your book is called.
Oh, not Audible, Kindle, sorry.
Oh, Kindle.
Kindle, yes. My book is called Back to Me, Changing How I Feel About My Mother, My Body, and Men.
Back to Me by Camilla Dorand.
Yes, that is...
Congratulations.
Yeah, but can I tell you something? My dream was to be a singer.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I don't have the voice.
Yes, you do.
I do have...
I'm a vocal coach, too, by the way.
You are? Awesome. Yes. But you can ask people who follow me on social media. I have a segment called In the Car with Camilla.
Oh, yeah.
So I put the
music...
do
I. Yeah, in the car.
But In the Car with Camilla, it's super catchy,
Yeah, I'll have to. We'll have to be in the car and practice singing in the car.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would
be super fun.
Yeah, I have to learn how to sing in Portuguese, like the Brazilians.
Yes, I'll teach you how to samba.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, okay.
That would be fun. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, April. My pleasure.
And, congratulations on everything that you've overcome, and, you continue to push on, and you don't let things stop you, and, you married an American.
I did.
Never marry an American. I'm going to marry a Brazilian, and there you go.
No, I was like, I'm never getting married again. But
I know, people ask me that too, and I'm like, to be continued. But but I'm really, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And you're healed, and now you're bringing the community together with your magazine, Red Rock City Life magazine, and all these events. So thank you for doing that. It's really great that you give back. So thank you for watching, and make sure that you go to CamillaDorand.com, and the book again, say it one more time.
Back to Me, Changing How I Feel About My Mother, My Body, and Men.
That's it. Go check it out on Amazon.
Yep.
This is Live with April Diamond, 30 Days of April, and thank you so much for watching. This is April Diamond, Live with April Diamond, 30 Days of April, here on Hey Vegas TV. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.